Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 390. I am Brendan. All right, we're going to talk about PFL 3 from 2024. All right, I know this is a couple days late. We don't have to get into it. If you like this kind of thing, we're going to break down fights. Subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. I do UFC PFL. There is no Bellator anymore. Bellator is now in the PFL. Lots of Bellator fighters on this card. Overall, so a couple takeaways before we get into the very first fight, which is Umalatov versus Koreshkov. I don't know if they did something different with the canvas or if they cleaned it with some weird stuff, but it looked really slippery. There were many times where guys were losing their footing, slipping. I can't imagine that makes for proper fights or showing exactly how they would go. I don't know how that affected every single fight, but when people did slip, it was very noticeable and kind of annoying. Second, the refs were really, really screwing things up. There are so many of these fights where the referees were ready to stick their grubby little fingers in things and screw things up. One of them, it caused a little bit of uproar. The other one was such a good feel-good story that nobody, they didn't even question it, which I don't know how they didn't question it. We'll get into it. Okay, first, Koreshkov versus Umalatov. All right, Koreshkov, the former Bellator champion, really good fighter in his own right. Just couldn't stay on his goddamn feet. In these 3-round fights, you got to stay on your feet. You can't give away a round. You can't let the guy sit on top of you for 5 minutes, and that's exactly what happened here. Koreshkov throws a spinning kick, gets his back taken standing. The ref steps in to say no elbows. Again, what did I say about the referees? There was no elbow. He says no elbows. There wasn't one. And then he tells him not to grab the fence when he did not grab the fence. And I'm a big proponent of following the rules. Like, you grab the fence even a little bit, I think you should be punished for it. He didn't grab it. He touched the fence. You're allowed to touch the fence. It's ridiculous. Umalatov gets a takedown, stays there for the rest of the round. Really hard to say that Koreshkov did anything in this for the entire fight, really. Big right hand, then a left from Umalatov, so Koreshkov is forced to wrestle. Only excitement that happened in this entire fight. Umalatov gets a takedown, then it's up, down, but he's in control till about 20 seconds left in the second round, clearly winning this one 20-18. Last round here, Koreshkov putting some offense together, but then decides to jump knee. Who throws a flying knee against a guy who just wants to take you down with no setup, not countering a takedown, just out of nowhere? I know that you're throwing caution to the wind. I get it. You're trying for anything. That is not the anything. I would try a big right hand, a big left hand, an uppercut, something else that isn't going to get you. Like, he falls. He just slipped and fell. Sorry. And then Umalatov's back on top for the rest of the round. I mean, it looked like Umalatov was getting tired at the end of the second round. Could he have stayed? I don't freaking know. Really, not the most interesting fight. I mean, even if you like wrestling, there wasn't a ton of change of position, wasn't a lot of counter wrestling or anything like that. Not a lot going on. So if you like that kind of thing, this card has a lot of it. You gotta love those cats from Russia really putting the stinker on the night. You gotta say something for matchmaking when it comes to that stuff. All right, Brennan Loughnane taking on Pedro Carvalho. Again, the referee, what the hell? Carvalho with the blitz attack. Loughnane doing a good job covering up. Loughnane landing a really nice right hand. Carvalho is staggered. Another big right hand from Loughnane, and Carvalho goes down. Carvalho's on his knees, not wanting to get up, but still wrestling back. And he even grabs an ankle as the ref calls it off. Garbage stoppage. Horrible fuck up. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go back and undo this. I don't know. Because then do you take the points away from Loughnane? Do you try to make a rematch? You don't have time for that because of the season format. John McCarthy. Oh yeah, it's funny what John McCarthy now has a problem with this stoppage. Only has problems with stoppage selectively. It's only when it doesn't meet the narrative or his narrative that he wants to follow. Because Carvalho's a former Bellator guy, and he was whatever. Loughnane looked great for as long as this lasted. It looked like if this fight carried on, we would have had a little bit of a slugfest and some bangers. Carvalho might have been able to land a couple good shots in there, giving Loughnane some problems. But we don't know. It didn't continue. The referee stepped in early, and it's a bad stoppage. But 6 points go to Loughnane. You guys know that I like that guy. I'm just telling you that that's a bad stoppage. Logan Storley versus Shamil Musaev. It was exciting while it lasted in certain moments. Obviously, most of the first round is kind of a stinker, and then it's very exciting at the very end, right? Storley pressuring, able to get him to the cage, but can't get the takedown. Musaev only looking to counter-strike, moving backwards. Musaev landing a spinning kick to the body that appeared to bother him. Now able to land some up top because he's kind of favoring the side. They settle back in. Storley presses forward. Musaev landing some really nice 1-2s, finishes the round, pouring on the damage. Hard to, pull out anything from the end of that round, but if you look at the beginning of it, Storley was able to pressure, able to do that stuff. So does that body kick really change the tide? I think so. If that doesn't happen, maybe we have a more competitive fight. But in the second round, a huge right hand from Musaev puts him down and follows up and gets a TKO finish. That guy looks good, right? That guy looks really good. It'll be interesting to see what happens over a series of fights. All right, so one that stoppage that I have a problem with, and I'll explain it. Gabriel Braga versus Justin Gonzales. Now, I don't have a problem with this because I think it was a horrible stoppage. It's the context of it, all right? Low kicks from both guys, and Braga taking the center. Gonzales looking to use the takedown to enter and getting some hooks up top into the body. Really nice stuff. Then re-entering and getting the takedown against the cage. Braga just was not able to manage the distance or find his range until literally the last second of the round. He lands a big shot, and Gonzales goes down. Then he lands a big shot and lands a second big shot to the back of the head, which, again, in motion, nobody ever gets punished for, so whatever. It put Gonzales down, and the bell rings as the referee's running over. The referee runs over, bell rings, and the ref waves it off. Gonzales wasn't like he fell face first, which is never a good sign. But the round's over. Give him a chance. Like he's not taking any more damage because you can pull him off, call it the end of the round. If Gonzales doesn't, it's how it was stopped. I don't inherently have a problem with the stoppage. It's how it was stopped. If Gonzales was not able to respond and he was not able to get back up on his own of his own volition, absolutely stop it. Gonzales didn't seem to have a problem with the stoppage. I don't buy too much into that because when a guy gets rocked, you make a lot of bad decisions. Like people who never wrestled a day in their life all of a sudden start wrestling. Okay, so I'm not going to take anything that anybody says or does after they get hit in the face really hard as gospel. But all he had to do was leave him alone. Pull the guy off. Pull Braga off of him. Leave him alone. Does he get up? Cool. He can continue. Give him the chance to continue. And it's weird that McCarthy didn't have a problem with this one. Didn't even explain it. They didn't even address it. It's because Braga's father passed away. And the story, I know, it's really good, and it's really emotional, and I'm not taking anything away from the guy. I think he did everything he was supposed to do. But the referee fucked this one up, too. Hi, Goiti Yamauchi versus Neiman Gracie. Boy, I can't watch these Gracie fights anymore. I can't. The modern Gracie family, Crone and Neiman, and I don't even know who else is still fighting. I don't know if there's another Gracie who's still fighting, but they're so bad. This is so bad to watch, right? These Gracies, they're so good on the ground, and they have these sloppy ass striking, and they just get beaten from pillar to post, and then every so often they'll have moments of competence, and everybody throws up their hands in excitement like something good's going to happen. And honestly, it's almost exploitative, right? It's because of that last name. They throw that in there and they get like, Gracie. So people who are familiar with Hoist Gracie, the Gracie name, they see Gracie and like, this guy must be oh my goodness. It ends the same way, and it inevitably ends the same way. It looks like this so many times, more often than it doesn't. Some of the worst fights you'll ever see, some of the worst beatdowns you'll ever see. These guys are tough as shit, and they're really good on the ground. They just, Low kicks from Yamauchi and neither guy committing to anything for the first minute. Yamauchi presses forward into the clinch, landing in tight. They separate. He re-engages. Yamauchi showing no respect to Gracie striking, walking him down, landing huge shots, stunning Gracie a few times in this round. I thought he could have got the finish. A jab from Yamauchi drops him in this round. He doesn't want to get up. Typical stuff. That's pretty normal. Gracie, wanting to do the butt scoot a little bit. Gracie, to be fair, he didn't do it as much as some other people. He just looks like a man out of time in there sometimes, right? It's the same as the last time they matched up. 10-9 to Yamauchi. Second round, Gracie's on his bicycle. Something serious. The guy's skirting the outside of the cage like he lives there. He does start landing the right hand here, and Yamauchi's output really slowed down this round. I don't know if his leg got hurt or something happened. I don't know if he was trying to bait Gracie into exchanging with him, and Gracie just refused. I don't know what happened, but he definitely lost this round. In the last 5 seconds, he landed the 3 best shots of the round. Absolutely. God dang, has this been out of focus the whole time? Come on. He landed absolutely the best 3 shots in the entire round, but that's not enough to outdo all the damage that Gracie was able to throw back at him. So I had it 19-19 going to third, and then third round, Yamauchi keeping the pressure on, lands some big shots in tight, making Gracie run yet again. Gracie shoots in, fails on a takedown, ends up in bottom half guard for the rest of the round. Not the most interesting end to this fight. It wasn't the most interesting fight to begin with. It's just, Yamauchi getting the 3 points. It's standard stuff in 2024. Bubba Jenkins versus Kai Kamaka. Now, this one I was looking forward to because Bubba Jenkins is legit and Kai Kamaka is this young talent with a lot of skill. He's had some close ones and some weird things that happened in Bellator where they were clearly pushing him forward. But, I don't know how much they're going to be doing that when he's in the PFL. I don't know how much they do that kind of stuff when it's the playoffs here or when the playoffs come around. But this regular season, they can still kind of play that game. Jenkins starting with some low kicks and going to the body, or starting with some kicks to the body and goes up top with them. Going for the takedown, follows up with a hook up top. He looked great in this first round. Quick, like he was not only quick, but he was moving well. Entering, exiting, avoiding a lot of the things coming back at him. Kamaka was doing some good work with low kicks, but he wasn't able to land the best shots up top. The best things that were coming from him were those low kicks. Jenkins stumbled, and here's the problem. He stumbles, and he got hit after he stumbled. And if you watched it real fast, it looked like Kamaka could have stunned him, but it was clear from my point of view that he didn't. Here's the thing. If people looked at that and they thought, and then here's Big John McCarthy is like, that he just hedged his bets, but he basically said Kai Kamaka won this one. Go figure. He's leaning on the Bellator guy again. But I had a 10-9 for Bubba Jenkins. I thought he did a good job in this round for the most part. I thought he looked really, really good. And then the second round, he started to slow down midway through the second round, right at the 2-minute mark. I think I marked it. Yep. Kamaka was controlling the range. He was backing up, using those low kicks. Bubba's still pressuring in and landing his own. Plus, he's going up to the top and with that left hand pretty hard. But then, right around the 2-minute mark, he got stationary. I don't know if something was hurt. Maybe his legs were bugging him from all those low kicks. He just started staying stationary and counter striking. Bubba tried to get to the low single leg, got to the back with the 120 left, got the standing backpack for a second, but just couldn't do anything with it, and that's just not going to count for you in the long run. Kamaka was able to avoid the bigger shots in this round, pull ahead, so I had him up 20. I had him up 19-19. Sorry, I had him up in this round, which makes it 19-19. Last round, Jenkins still kind of stationary, countering with the takedown and landing a couple big counter hooks, but Jenkins started slipping all over the place, and his cardio wasn't holding up. Another case where the canvas looks slippery. Jenkins gets the takedown at the end of the round, but it just ain't enough. 29-28, and that's how the judges saw it as well. All 3 judges. All right, Enrique Barzola versus Adam Borics. This one was fun. Very exciting. Barzola starts the fight with a kick to the dick. Very good move. Always recommend getting your fouls in early. Get a kick to the dick, poke some eyes, grab some fence, right? Hit to the back of the head. Always get your fouls in early, but only do one of each, right? Make sure you do one of each. I would actually poke each eye, get a warning for each eye, maybe try to kick each nut, and then get a warning for each of the testicles, right? So, I don't know, maybe grab some ears, the dude, it's this whole thing. Everybody is just so sloppy with their fouls. And I'm not Boric. I don't and Barzola. I don't think are guilty of that normally. But if you just put together just a highlight reel of all of the fouls in MMA, it's unbelievable the amount of it that you get. Boric landed some nasty low kicks and then landing a hard left hook, and Barzola drops for a second. Barzola wants to swing wide and work his way in with a little chaos, but Boric is staying in tight with him and landing that lead hook and stopping him from moving in. Barzola gets poked in the eye as it gets in a close exchange. Appears to land an uppercut that rocks Boric and keeps the pressure on with some lift and slams. The thing is, he didn't allow the effects of that punch to be seen, and because of that, and he didn't land that much damage afterwards. He landed a little bit, but not enough. And he got that back, and there was the exchange at the end of the round really started to swing in the favor of Barzola. He just didn't do enough, so I had a 10-9 for Boric. Second round, Boric landing that jab, keeping the distance. Barzola trying those wild hooks again. Boric landing a right hand, and Barzola drops, and Boric is all over him, looking for the finish. Barzola recovers kind of enough to grapple and go for a takedown. Boric is tired. Boric gets up, slips and falls, and Barzola just took so much damage. So I had Boric up 20 to 18. Oh, wait, hold on. I go back. Sorry. Barzola did do a ton of damage. I leaned towards Barzola at the end of that first round. It was super close, but I thought that last little flurry gave him it because he hurt him. Okay, I didn't write it down properly. I wish he had let Boric back away a little bit more and give him some space so he could see how damaged he was. Despite that, I still leaned in his favor. I think he could have sealed it with a little bit more damage and allowing the scene to play out instead of immediately going into the grappling exchanges. So after the second round, which Boric won, I had it 19-19. That first round was very close, though. Last round, Boric lands a left hook yet again, staggering Barzola as he rushes in. Barzola is just not as clean of a striker, but his cardio is holding up a little better and he's still getting tagged as he moves forward, but starting to find his mark more often. Barzola is starting to pull away as this round wears on, so Boric needs to land a big shot or he's going to lose. Barzola gets a takedown, and then they are back up, staying safe and holding on to the end. I think that he eked this one out. I think Barzola won this last round. I had him up 29-28. If you look at the AI scorecard here, that first round they gave to Barzola, second round they gave to Boric, and then the third round they gave to Boric, but just barely 82-75 for their thing. This is not a bad decision. They did give it to Boric. It is not a bad decision. Not a bad decision at all. It was a close fight. I thought that Barzola did enough. Brett Johns versus Timur Khizriev. Boy, real exciting stuff here, guys. Khizriev using the jab from each stance, kicks up to the middle of the body. Khizriev looking so much bigger. Every time he grabs or lands, he's just so much stronger. Khizriev getting the takedown, staying on top until about minute 45. Johns gets up for a moment, but no. Just not enough movement from Johns. Can't stay on his feet, and when he does move in, we'll talk about in the second round, but this was 10-9 Khizriev easily. The jab from Khizriev is stopping Johns from landing, and any combos from Johns goes for takedowns only to be countered and ends up against the fence for a bit. Johns gets a takedown with 219, but can't take the back or the guillotine. Ends up falling off of those. Both of those ends up on bottom for the rest of the round. 20-18 for Khizriev. Johns goes for a takedown again, ending up on bottom until about 40 seconds left. Gets up to the back and the end of the round. It's just not even close. This fight was not a fun one to watch. There was a little bit of grappling exchanges, but again, not the kind of stuff that I like to see. And Khizriev kind of just walked away with it. Laureano Staropoli versus Murad Ramazanov. This one did not go very long, but Staropoli missed weight anyway. Staropoli goes in for a flying knee against the guy who wanted to take him down, and then gets taken down, oddly enough. Spends the whole round on top and getting the tap via neck crank, rear naked choke before the end of the round. Right before the end, Ramazanov gets the finish. So good for him. And here's another one. Don Madge versus Brendan Ward. Don Madge versus Brennan Ward. Ward runs across and wants to sling leather immediately, and Ward throws him to the ground, lets him up, and then trades only to get rocked and dropped, and then gets back and then gets standing rear naked choked. Like complete chaos. It ended pretty quick. So not a ton to break down there. All right, I know I didn't do PFL 2. I'd say that I didn't know about it and that I forgot. And that'd be the truth, because it was UFC 300 last weekend, and I didn't see anything on any of my feeds about the PFL being on. And I didn't do my due diligence and find out that it was on. So that is on me. If you do like this kind of stuff, I'll try to cover more PFLs. I'm sorry. Subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. I'd appreciate it. If you guys didn't watch this card, let me go through some highlights. Boy. If you guys didn't watch this card, the Loughnane one was a disappointment because it didn't go long enough and the ending sucked. Storley versus Musaev was exciting. That was pretty quick. Again, not a ton of back and it was not the most exciting first round. Yamauchi versus Gracie was a beatdown. Jenkins versus Bubba Jenkins versus Kamaka. That was a good fight. Good fight. You can really see Kamaka start to pull away. Barzola versus Borics. That was a good fight. That's probably it. There's about 2 fights on here that I would recommend going watching. If you want to sit through and watch a bunch of guys slip around and referees screw a bunch of shit up and then also watch some boring fights, go for it. I wouldn't. I do appreciate y'all for stopping by, though. Have an amazing week. Love y'all.